It's the sort of place John Lennon imagined. You've almost certainly never heard of it, but Auroville, a small town in southern India, was set up as a community where people of all nations could live together in harmony with no money, no rules and no leaders. Both UNESCO and the Dalai Lama have endorsed the place. The Indian government subsidises it. But many local people say the place exploits them and, most controversially, sexually exploits their children. Rachel Wright reports.
The tourists see Auroville Beach as a tropical paradise. The residents live in a utopian community built around a giant gold sphere, the vision of someone they call the mother, and induction takes 1 year. But the locals live in poverty and say their children are the victims of sexual crimes. Welcome to Auroville.
It's clearly the kind of environment in which every parasite is going to turn up and get away with a hell of a lot of abuse and exploitation.
Auroville was founded in 1968 by a Frenchwoman, Mira Alfassa. She became known as the Mother. She believed the community could realise a more advanced human consciousness. Endorsed by UNESCO and partly financed by the Indian government, the residents are a mix of Europeans and Indians. They undergo a year's induction before they become full members. Aurovillians aspire to something called divine anarchy, no rules, no leaders, and believe that this will bring about harmony.
Basically, the project of Auroville is the ideal society. And any society can only reflect the quality of its members. You cannot have an ideal society with non-ideal members.
The 2,000 Westerners and Indians who are Auroville's members receive grants from the Indian government, income from tourists, donations from abroad, and operate successful enterprises and pay no tax. 16,000 Tamil villagers live in Auroville too. Few of them become members, and most live on around £30 a month. That material difference has caused ongoing tension between Aurovillians and the local Tamil villagers. Aurovillians say it leads to resentment and unfounded accusations. The local Tamils say it makes them vulnerable, especially their children who attend schools run by Auroville. Local villagers would only describe the problems on condition of anonymity.
Some children here are currently being abused, particularly in the new creation school. Men come in and ask them to stay after school and then have sex with them, giving food and paying them. The children get used to this life, to the money, and they're going back for more.
People are genuinely scared to talk, but one victim was willing to come forward. Sundram, not his real name, says he's suffered years of abuse.
An Aurovillian white man had a relationship with me when I was young. From the age of 10, he abused me. Even today, I feel ashamed about what he did. Now I have nothing to do with him, but some Aurovillians are still abusing other children. The beach and the areas around it, that's where these things happen. The white men are doing it. They also abuse girls. There is no one to stop them.
Raj Batra spent 2 years in Auroville. He left after villagers complained to him about the child abuse from Aurovillians and also visiting tourists. He says many in Auroville know what's going on but choose to turn a blind eye.
What I was shocked about was that when I'd say this to people, say, look, you know, from what I hear, there's a lot of child abuse going on. The first thing they would say is, is it Auroville children? At which point I'd say, well, no, it's the local village children. And at that point, it would be, it's nothing to do with us.
One disgruntled Aurovillian has given me access to the Auroville intranet site, which is supposed to be read only by Auroville members, and I found some very interesting reading.
One posting openly refers to worries about abuse at the new creation school, where village children are taught. Auroville admits that allegations of sexual abuse have been made against several of their members. Some have been told they can no longer work in India. But they say such allegations are unfounded. One man who worked at the school was Frenchman Didier Kim. Despite a previous conviction for paedophilia in France, He moved to Auroville in 1995 and began working with children. Auroville say they expelled Keem immediately they became suspicious of his behaviour. But witnesses say he continued to work with children in Auroville for another 5 years. He was finally arrested and sentenced for paedophilia in the nearby town of Puducherry in 2004.
Until a man is publicly exposed, they shield him. Once they can't shield him, technically they expel him. Though he was technically expelled by the Auroville Foundation, he came and stayed in Puducherry and he continued with his activities.
Nandi Varman is a local politician in Puducherry, 8 miles away. He contacted friends at the highest level of the Indian government to get Didier Keem arrested. But he's concerned that many more paedophiles are slipping through the net.
Silently, some people are being deported from Auroville out of this country, but many cases go unreported, and for each and every case, all people cannot go on pressurizing the center and take up the issue at the national level, because the local police level, they turn a blind eye to these happenings, because they don't know. They think a foreigner has come from heaven.
According to Nandi Varman, paedophiles are not necessarily Aurovillians, but are often tourists who hear about the availability of sex and come to stay in Auroville as visitors.
This is the beach where Aurovillians hang out with their family and friends. It's also the beach where Westerners come to pick up young Indian children. The other day, in the space of 2 hours, I saw 2 separate men with 2 young Indian boys, one of whom was taken to a beach hut right over there.
So is Auroville doing enough to address a practice that seems so brazen? One of the issues is that Auroville doesn't really have a leadership structure. Ultimately, the Indian government in Delhi is responsible. That's because when the woman known as the mother died in Puducherry in 1973, Auroville management descended into chaos and was taken over by the central Indian government. But many feel Auroville and Puducherry have slipped beneath the radar.
I found it to be rife with all kinds of problems, which, to be absolutely frank, I think are the kind of problems that would have shut the place down a long time ago had it been anywhere else. We're in a part of India which is not very well developed. The state institutions are not well developed enough, they're not that well resourced.
Local charities, however, are reacting to the problem. This man teaches local children how to deal with unwanted advances from predatory adults.
The sexual abuse issue has to be taken seriously by this foundation, Auroville Foundation. They should scrutinize the people stepping into their foundation or visiting their foundation, or they want to stay in their foundation. Make it very clear their intention that if you are coming to our foundation, you should follow these are the things and we will be watching you.
Many locals think it's not as easy as watching out for paedophiles. They say the Aurovillians are too powerful to be challenged.
We depend on them for work. If these kind of stories come out, there would be death threats from Aurovillians, and we have no protection from them. There are lots of things that happen like this inside Auroville.
It's clear there are tensions between villagers and Aurovillians. But it's also clear that Auroville has a good record in helping the local community. They run schools, employ villagers, and when the tsunami struck southern India, they played a large part in the relief effort. Yet allegations of child abuse threaten to ruin that carefully crafted relationship.
Well, earlier I called Carol TM of the Auroville Working Committee. Mr. TM, do you accept that there is a problem with foreigners coming to your part of India and having sex with children?
I do not accept the statements which are being made in the video. That is the transcript which we were shown this morning by Mrs. Wright, who has done the interviews. I think that script was full of incurious innuendos and accusations without being substantiated in any way.
There are 5 witnesses cited by her who say that it happens.
Well, then the question is why she and nor any of those witnesses have gone to any of the relevant authorities, be it the Indian police, be it the Indian immigration authorities, be it an Aurovillian, be it the Auroville Working Committee, be it the Auroville Secretary of the Auroville Foundation, who is an IAS officer with Joint Secretary level, and who is there specifically to make sure that Auroville develops according to its ideals. None of them have ever bothered to complain. So what is the value of these kind of witnesses? What have they seen actually? What did they see? And how can they confirm that whatever they have seen involves Aurovillians or guests of Auroville?
Are you saying that there has been no child abuse taken place in or around your community in the last 10 years?
I have no idea what happens around my community because we are not having any views on that. And if you want information on that, you will have to contact the local police who has files on criminal behavior patterns. I can only talk about what has happened inside this community. And as Mrs. Wright, who did the interview, has been explicitly informed both by us and by her interviewees, I believe there was a case in 1995 of somebody. Is it 1995 or 1996? Somebody who joined, who stayed in Auroville for not more than 8 months before he was discovered out and was kicked out of Auroville. We asked authorities in Puducherry, we informed them about this issue. Nevertheless, the man was allowed to stay in Puducherry, and it was only until 2002 that legal action was initiated against him, and he was convicted only in 2004. But you will understand that Auroville has no influence on the Indian police or on the judiciary, and we cannot force them to take quicker action.
Since then, how many people have been expelled?
We have not expelled anybody. We have asked a couple of people to leave as soon as we got information that they might have been involved or were involved in anything to do with minor children. As soon as we got the wind of this kind of thing, we immediately contacted these people and told them that it would be better to leave, and they have left. But we have, at this present moment, not one confirmed allegation, except the one I'm talking about, of sexual abuse of children. We have only allegations, innuendos, and we take an exceptionally strong action in case we hear that an individual is involved or might be involved.
Mr. Thiem, thank you very much.